Hi, everybody. I'm here with David Wright. David is a personal trainer at probably now Parkway Athletic Club. Thanks for being with us, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, we're going to talk about something we talk about a lot, but it's so important. Food and how it affects your fitness goals. First of all, I'm going to say, okay, this is my guess, and I want to know what your opinion is. I'm going to say 80%, up to 80% of the goals you get in the gym have to do with the food that you eat, with your nutrition, about what you're putting in your body. 80% of the results are because of the food, your diet, your nutrition. And the reason I say that, the reason I think that is because it doesn't really matter what you're doing in the gym if you're on a beer diet or if you're on a Twinkie diet.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not getting enough protein, it really doesn't matter what you're doing in the gym because your body can't respond if it doesn't have enough protein. Your body needs protein first to make what you're doing in the gym have any positive effect at all. Otherwise, it's not really going to do anything. As a matter of fact, it's probably harmful.
Agreed.
So that's my number. 80% is what you eat. What do you think? And you're, just so you guys know, if you don't already, David's a physique competitor. And so his diet is the focus of his life, probably, So
Pretty much.
what do you think, David? What's your number?
Yeah, no, I think it's probably at least 80% because, there's a lot of people, that even I know that maybe can come in and, go to the gym, but then afterwards maybe they go and have, fast food, or they just, maybe not even fast food, but they go eat junk at home, that type of thing. And that's one of those things that, as a physique competitor, just in general, and because it's such a focus, if my nutrition, is not on point, I guess I would say. And what I mean by that is eating, whole foods, eating very specific things. Like, I know the foods that I'm eating, I know everything that's in all of them because they're one ingredient type foods. Rice, it's just rice, with whatever seasoning I put on it, or, you know, different meats. Well, it's that one meat with whatever I put on it. So, one of the things that, has a huge impact is, yeah, you know what? There's different types of proteins out there. There's different types of foods out there, and there's a lot of myths out there in terms of what you shouldn't be eating, all these other things. But at the end of the day, if you're going to want the best performance in the gym, regardless of what your goals are, whether that's to, you know, bench press 300 pounds, or it's to come in and just be healthy and feel better, as a beginner, as an advanced, gym goer, lifter, whatnot, it's all the same. You're not going to get results, or at least not very good ones, or the best that you could, and get the most out of every workout that you do if your nutrition is not there. So to your point, protein, I've told this to my clients, whether they're actual training clients or some that train and, want some nutrition advice from me, since I'm a nutrition coach as well. One of the biggest things is we've got to get you to have enough protein. And when you really go over what your diet is, and I like to tell people, diet is just what you eat. And we're not talking about fad diets on the internet. It's really, the more diet is what you're putting in your mouth. That's really all we're talking about here. Is I'll look and say, okay, tell me what you eat. Be honest with me. What do you eat? I'm not going to, judge you or tell you all these other things. I just want to seriously know you're coming to the gym. I want to help you get to where you want to be. Let me know what you're eating. And when we go over it, 9 times out of 10, maybe even 9.5 times out of 10, not even close to enough protein, even if they're not trying to be a physique competitor, and maybe they're just trying to maybe gain a little muscle or even lean out, we still need that protein. And so that's a huge thing that people don't realize. Number one, how important protein is for your muscle recovery and just overall health in general. But when you're adding in the gym and you're trying to make progress and you don't have that protein, that's where, to your point earlier, Steve, it's like you're not going to get there, and you're going to keep going. And a lot of times, what I've seen is people keep going to the gym, and then get burned out because, hey, I'm not seeing anything, or I'm not seeing what I want to see. Well, and it's all based on, 80, 85, maybe even percent out of what you're doing, what you're putting in your mouth versus what you're putting in your hands, or, doing cardio. So it's really, really important. I wouldn't say it's undervalued, but I would say that there's just so many things out there that people just really need to be able to find a source that they can trust and focus on. We need protein. We need the right type of nutrients. Then we have the performance in the gym or whatever activities we're doing. Without that, you just don't have it.
It's true. What you eat is what's going to make your workouts effective.
Mm-hmm.
And before we turn this on, we talked a little bit about processed foods. And some of the statistics that I hear out there, like half of all teenagers have fatty liver. It's not because they started drinking alcohol when they were 3. It's because of the processed foods, the
Mm-hmm.
seed oils and linoleic acid. It's in everything pretty much that's in a box, that's in a container. And you talked about eating foods that are just one ingredient. An apple, it's one ingredient. It's an apple, you know. And if you eat organic, that's even better because of what's not put on the apple or the fruit or the rice. I eat organic rice. Everything is organic. And ask when you go out to eat, ask, how do you cook this? What kind of oil do you? If they say canola oil, I don't eat it. If they say different seed oils, I don't eat it. Um, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the long run. And you look at the health issues in the United States, and it's like, wow. Um, it just, people don't look healthy. Even in the gym. There's people all shapes and sizes in the gym, but at least they're in the gym trying to do something good, trying to do something that's positive for their life. But you you, you got to stay away from processed foods, things in a package. And I don't mean meat. Yeah, meat comes in a package. Meat is a whole food. Chicken is a whole food. Try to get organic, try to get grass fed. Um, but it's the food dyes and it's all the different things that are in these processed foods, and in like the seed oils, the vegetable oils. It's how they make them. Go do some research, watch some videos on how they make these oils. You're going to go, do I want to eat that or put it in my car?
Yeah, it's a great point, Steve, because you know, here in our club we do hair sensitivity testing for food and environmental things, along with a bunch of other things that it shows. And the reason why I bring that up here, it's a perfect example of what you're talking about. So it brings up a bunch of different things that you might be sensitive to. The interesting thing is let's say olive oil used a lot and different things like that, or even you know other kinds of oil that are out there. Well, what it's going to go through, and it's very interesting, is a lot of times there will be, let's say, olives are not on that list of things that they're sensitive to, but olive oil is, or avocados aren't on the list, but avocado oil is. Different types of things where you think, well, if I can't have olives, then I shouldn't be able to have olive oil, or vice versa. But the difference is, you take these olives, you make it into oil. Well, there's a whole chemical change there. So when you look at vegetable oil as an example, well, I don't know which vegetables they extracted whatever from, but
Yeah,
that
yeah,
chemical
that's
change,
goofy.
right?
How much oil is in a vegetable?
Right. So, what vegetable did you use, and how did that happen? But regardless of that, even whatever process they put that through, it completely changes everything. So, you just really have to understand, and that's the hard part for a lot of people, is they don't do a lot of kind of their own research, or they come to the gym and they don't really think about the second half, which is actually the bigger half, which is the food, portion of it. So to your point, we come in the gym, we're doing something good for our health, which is great, but you've really got to address the bigger part. So yes, you're moving and we talked about mobility in another video, and those types of things are great, but the food part you really, really need to have under control. Otherwise, you know, and I'm not talking about overeating or any of those other things. I'm just talking about what you're physically putting in your mouth and being aware of, to your point, the oils that are being used, or the ingredients that are in that box of Cheerios, or or whatever you're eating. You need to know what that stuff is, because a lot of those things that are healthy for you and have all the labels and flashy stuff on them, the ingredients list is this long, and most of the stuff you're going, I don't even know what that is, but I guess it's okay. But really compare that to a steak, right? What's the ingredient? Beef, steak, that's it. Versus, 40 different items in, cereal or whatever. So it's really important to just understand kind of how that works, and, what the benefits are of the whole foods and not, the processed foods. Is it going to be the worst thing ever if you have a processed food every once in a while? No. But what you have to understand is what that impact is on your fitness or your health overall, to really make that big change. And in all reality, and I'll tell you from my personal experience, going from where I was at 260 pounds to where I'm at now, once you get into that groove of not necessarily wanting this processed stuff all the time, which is where I was at all the time constantly, you really don't miss it. You don't crave it. You don't have to have it in your brain. You just, like right now, I crave my, rice, beef, and asparagus. I'm like, ooh, when's the next time I get to eat? Because it's all about getting the energy instead of having that craving in your brain that wants to force you to go and eat more and more of those things.
I would take it a step further and say not only do you not want it, you avoid it. You will avoid it. Get that away from me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling good. I like the progress I'm making it all. Think about the investment you have going from 260 to where you are now, usually sitting around 10% body fat, 12 maybe, unless you're competing, it goes lower. Think about the investment that you have. You don't want to put one little ding against that investment by eating a bad oil. And you, olive oil is healthy. However, you have to pay attention to how it's processed. Is it extra virgin olive oil? And so is avocado oil,
Mm-hmm.
things you can cook with. But you have to look at how it's processed. If it's minimally processed, the extra virgin is always good. Organic, like the kind of olive oil we use is organic extra virgin olive oil. That's a healthy oil. That's not going to hurt me. As if anything, well, it's good for me actually. And then MCT oil is processed from coconut oil, but it's minimally processed and it's a medium chain triglyceride. They're medium chain triglycerides, so it's one of the best oils you can eat. Tallow, that's a fat. Butter, that's a fat. And it's funny how butter and tallow and some of these things, lard, get ripped into when they're actually the healthier choice than the overprocessed seed oils and vegetable oils.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, Steve. I recall from TV and all sorts of places, articles, whatnot, where margarine was a big thing. Oh, have this margarine; it's great. Healthier than butter, and blah blah blah. All the hype, right? That's kind of gone away. There's not a whole lot of public advertising of that anymore. But when in reality, it's the exact opposite. I mean, it's horrible for you. So it's one of those things that just because somebody or a lot of somebody say, hey, this is great for you and you should use this instead of that, do your own research. Like we're talking about olive oils and different things like that are at the higher level and healthy, and then you've got way on the bottom over here, canola oil, vegetable oil, all these you know science experiment oils that are cheap, and that's exactly why they are used. Is they're cheap, easy to come by, And so we can charge you this much, but we're using an oil that's, worth this much. And so that's one of those things you really just have to understand, and understand also, even with the healthier things, like how much is being used, because too much of a good thing could be not a great thing for you. Like olive oil is great. Avocado oil is also great. It's much healthier, the healthy fats. But, we want to also, when we can, minimally use those as well, because, it is additional fat, even though it's good fat. Because I've seen people who are just like, oh, I'm going to put olive oil on everything. No, no, no. Relax with the olive oil, but use it instead of vegetable oils. Use it instead of those things. So just do your research and really understand that, again, like you said, an investment for me, investment in myself and the amount of work that I put in and I'm going to be putting in the future for this season as well, is the same, to somebody else. Like, okay, I'm going to start the gym. I'm going to start doing all these things for myself and my health. Well, you've got to make sure that you're doing everything that you can so that you do feel better, so that you do get the results that you're looking for, so that you do get healthier, because that's why you're here. Or that's why you're even watching this, or you're going into a gym or starting a workout routine, whatever it is. Do the whole thing. And then that way you can, it's more likely that you're going to stick to that and see the results from it, and in turn have better health. So that's kind of it's an overall 360. You kind of have to, you change all of that stuff, or just kind of modify what you're doing now to be healthier.
Yeah. And, the fats are good, but you made a great point that I always make. Do your own research. Talk to a nutritionist that comes highly recommended. Talk to personal trainers. Um, Talk to people who have success with their clients and come highly recommended, and learn. And you just can't be, and again, everyone is different, and challenge yourself to figure yourself out and find out about the details of what makes your body work the best and what makes you the healthiest and what makes you feel the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, David, if people want to follow you on social media, how do they do that?
So they can follow me on Instagram at davidwright_fitness for my fitness journey stuff, show prep, that kind of thing. And then at Right Fitness Training on Instagram for the personal training.
Okay, so everyone, like the video if you made it this far, and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in finding out more about the things that happen around a gym, or if you have questions, put them in the comment section. If you want to know more about fitness, health, working out, and what happens in the gym, this is a channel where you can probably gain some fun information. So thanks for being with us, David.
Thanks, Steve.